In a sun-drenched village nestled at the foot of the great Kilimanjaro lived a young girl named Adama. She was known not for riches or fine clothes, but for a heart as warm as the African sun. Adama was an orphan, and life had given her very little. Her stomach was often empty, and her clothes were patched and worn, but her spirit remained unbroken. She spent her days helping the village elders, fetching water, and sharing the few berries she could find with the younger children. Her laughter was a rare and precious melody in a village that had known many hardships. One scorching afternoon, while searching for firewood deep in the forest, Adama stumbled upon something shimmering under a large baobab tree. It was a calabash, but unlike any she had ever seen. It was small enough to hold in her hands and glowed with the soft, warm light of 1,000 fireflies. It felt smooth and cool to the touch, and it was as light as a feather. Curious and tired, she sat down, her stomach rumbling a familiar, empty tune. "Oh, how I wish I had just a little bit of ugali," she whispered to the empty air, her voice barely a sigh. To her utter astonishment, the golden calabash began to warm in her hands. A gentle steam curled from its opening, carrying the delicious, unmistakable scent of freshly cooked ugali. She peered inside and saw the white, fluffy cornmeal, perfectly cooked and ready to eat. Her eyes widened. Was this magic? Trembling with excitement and hunger, she took a small bite. It was the most delicious thing she had ever tasted. She ate until her stomach was full for the first time in as long as she could remember. Overjoyed, she hugged the magical calabash to her chest, her heart filled with a gratitude so immense it brought tears to her eyes. She finally had food. She would never be hungry again. The next day, as Adama sat down to enjoy her magical meal, she saw old Jabari, the village's eldest storyteller, walking slowly with his cane. He looked weary and frail, his face etched with the lines of hunger. Adama's heart ached for him. She remembered the many times he had shared his stories with her, filling her imagination when her belly was empty. Without a second thought, she called out, "Baba Jabari, come, sit with me. I have some food to share." Jabari's tired eyes lit up with surprise. He sat beside her, and Adama held out the calabash. "I don't have much," she said humbly, "but what is mine is yours." As Jabari gratefully took a portion of the ugali, something incredible happened. The ugali in the calabash instantly replenished itself, remaining just as full as it was before. Adama gasped. She looked from Jabari's happy face to the brimming calabash. A thought sparked in her mind. Could it be? Was this the calabash's secret? Word of Adama's generosity and her seemingly endless supply of food spread like wildfire through the village? At first, some were skeptical. A few were even envious. A boy named Quito, whose family was better off than most, but always wanted more, watched Adama with greedy eyes. He saw her sharing her ugali with the children, the sick, and the elderly every single day. He saw how the food never ran out, and he coveted the golden calabash for himself. He wanted all that food, all that magic, for his own. One evening, under the cloak of twilight, Quito snuck into Adama's small hut while she was helping a neighbor mend a roof. He snatched the glowing calabash and ran back to his own home, his heart pounding with selfish excitement. "Now I will have all the food I could ever want," he thought, grinning. He sat down, held the calabash, and commanded, "I want a feast." A whole roasted goat, a mountain of rice. He waited. Nothing happened. The calabash remained cool and empty in his hands. He grew angry. "Give me food," he shouted, shaking it violently. Still nothing. The calabash didn't even glow for him. It was just an ordinary, empty gourd. Frustrated and confused, Quito threw it into a corner and sulked. Meanwhile, Adama discovered her precious calabash was gone. Her heart sank. It wasn't the loss of the food that pained her, but the loss of her ability to help others. The next day, the villagers came to her as usual, their faces hopeful, but Adama could only offer them an apologetic smile and empty hands. The familiar pangs of hunger returned to the village, and the children's laughter faded once more. Adama searched everywhere, her spirit heavy with sorrow. Seeing the gloom return to the village, Keto's father grew suspicious. He knew his son's greedy nature. He questioned Keto, who finally confessed, shamefaced, and produced the dull, ordinary-looking Calabash. Keto's father, a wise man who understood the ways of the world better than his son, knew what had to be done. He took the Calabash and, holding Keto firmly by the ear, marched him to Adama's hut. In front of all the gathered villagers, Keto tearfully apologized and returned the Calabash. Adama accepted his apology with a gentle smile, showing no anger, only relief. As she took the Calabash back into her hands, it immediately began to glow with its familiar golden light. A collective gasp went through the crowd. In that moment, everyone understood. The Calabash was not just a magical object, it was a vessel of kindness. From that day forward, Adama's little hut became the heart of the village. She held the Calabash and wished not just for ugali, but for stews, fruits, and vegetables enough for everyone. And the Calabash always provided. She didn't keep the magic to herself. And under the watchful eye of the great mountain, Adama, the girl with the golden Calabash, ensured that no one in her village ever went hungry again.